What has got Trudeau running scared? Narrated by Phil Richmond. No one has accused Trudeau of being a man. His emotional response to questions and issues is not surprising. But the anxiety that causes him to flee his home and question period has more behind it than the fearsome woman experience, faced with a mouse. Trudeau is not in any physical danger. He has plenty of protection. Physical violence is unlikely to be employed against him. His fear is far more visceral. But his fear is seen in many on the left, and not in a few who are supposedly on the right. Unfortunately, conservatives have no label similar to the rhino appellation used south of us. Of course, politicians fear losing power. That is their lifeblood. They do not like disorder, but mostly they do not like disorder that does not play into their political agenda. As bad as the BLM riots were, politicians could not view them as entirely negative. The movement played well when co-opted as a plank in the platform of liberalism, and indeed served the agenda of many so-called conservatives. There is not much in the Truckers Revolt that helps a politician. Those on the right treat the movement as a political grenade, with good reason. It, more than any other protest or movement, could blow up in their face. Many conservatives consider the revolt has an enormous downside and not much that is positive, other than that it embarrasses the government. When the government can be pressured into altering or amending policy that is bad enough, government can usually put a positive spin on their capitulation. There is nothing that is positive in the minds of a politician, left or right, about this latest challenge. BLM never challenged the lifeblood of government. Truckers are the bread and butter of Canada. But even as the carriers of all we consume. But truckers are not a threat to the government because they are the wheels of this nation. The truckers are a visible manifestation of the power of private ownership. It is a power not provided by the state, but a power that feeds and nurtures the state, and which the state is totally dependent on. The government does not care about the voter. It cares about the people who own the means of production. It is not just that the truckers are showing the government where the real center of power lays. The revolt reveals to us that politicians are suckling babes. Private owners have the power because capitalism creates value for babies and parasites, something politicians know nothing about. But they know they need food, clothing and shelter, and capitalism provides this. The truckers threaten the ability of politicians to remain dependents. But Daddy is threatening to cut off their stipend. It is not the people who have power, the people dilute the power of property. When truckers cease supplying government with what they need, government cannot exercise power. When private owners of the means of production rise up against the globalist elite, the cartels and the politicians, the world will see them for what they are, a babe in a highchair banging his spoon, wanting to be fed.